Good morning. Welcome to another episode of PI Today. I'm your host, Dr. Nicholas Aloy, and we're going to keep things rolling on the whole TBI spectrum. Today we have a very special guest with us. All of our guests are special. We're going to get into the world of TBI and VNGs. Now, VNGs have been in the personal injury world been a little bit controversial about its use, how it's used, where it's used, who's doing it, what price point it is. As somebody that is a doctor in this field, we only work with very reputable companies that have a great reputation, great results, work with great neurologists that interpret it in order to be able to get this objective type of test. Now, with that said, what is a VNG? It's been around a very long time. It's FDA approved, and it is one of the inception of an objective test of a traumatic brain injury, and it's non-invasive, low cost, and it is something needed in order to be able to diagnose properly and move the patients on. So today we have Mr. Matt Miner, the owner of Cali VNG Solutions. I like to call him for as short as CVS, not the drugstore, obviously. But today we're going to he's brought a machine here today. He is also a technician of it. We're going to kind of figure out what is a VNG, when it's appropriate, who recommends it, and how to get it going with to testing your clients or your patients. So Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Nick.
So Matt, when did this company start, and how long have you been doing this VNG for?
Sure. I've been in the testing for the last, since 2018, worked as a technician here in California, actually. Really started doing a lot of testing during COVID. There was a huge demand for the testing side to it then. So since about 2018, I've been fully activated in testing many patients. I've probably seen over 100 patients in my career as a technician. Spent many hours understanding the different protocols for the VNG that that the doctors like to see from gathering the data. My whole side to this is basically I am a technician, but I also have technicians under me that actually will test patients, in an environment where it's basically, yes, usually it's testing. What we do is we just gather the data only. What happens next is we send the data over to a board certified neurologist, and the neurologist actually interprets the data. And from there, the neurologist actually sends back the data with a nice, beautiful report. It encompasses the findings, his interpretation of what is happening with the patient from the data that he's gathered. So our
And
role,
and this
yes,
data, what is the neurologist looking for? What is this machine? Basically, what kind of data does it collect for the neurologist to interpret? What type of conditions?
sure. The first one for they're looking for the VNG is the vestibular data. Uh, Basically anything that's dealing with oculomotor and also any of the vestibular issues that the data, there's 7 different tests that's collected for the data for the neurologist. In addition to that, they also he wants to, or them, the neurologists want to gather information on the neurocognitive side. So we have a test that is administered that it's about 8 different tests that's for the neurocognitive side. It entails working memory, executive function, and with those 8 tests, it's about a 23-minute test in all. That way, the doctor looks at the data. He's able to determine what areas that the patient has deficits on. The third test, which is pretty much a balance test, and that is basically showing what areas of the brain down to the feet the patient is having, and what the doctor is looking for is if the patient is acceptable for a fall risk.
Got it. So these patients, some of them that are have some diagnosis like dizziness, nystagmus, photophobia, memory loss, basically people who get concussions from a traumatic brain injury and are affected. And these reports indicate from the machine, the tests you do indicate if these patients are positive for any of those symptoms. Is that correct?
Yes. For example, the VNG, when the doctor receives the report, he will see the different areas that the tests go through, which today we'll actually do a quick test just to show what we actually do. And one of the areas of one of the tests is administered it's called the cicadas test, for example. The doctor will look at if the patient is following a baseline or they have a deficit. So that's basically what the doctor's looking for, and it will in the report it will actually say abnormal. If the doctor wants to look more into it, he can look at the raw data, which is given to them. In addition to that, if he has more questions, he can always go back to the test and remote in and look at it in a live environment that the patient actually is the actual showing of the test.
Got it. And these tests. When I was practicing, these tests are, not administered, but prescribed, right?
Yes.
They're prescribed by the patient's PTP or the doctor that's treating them at that time, or whether it's a chiropractor, a neurologist, their family physician, their internist. If they see any of these symptoms, this test is done by prescription, correct?
That's correct.
Right. So if somebody needs this test, it's determined by their treating physician, treating doctor, and by prescription. And how long does this test take to perform?
Yes, all three tests take 1 hour. The VNG usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Of course, there's other issues that could involve, like the patient obviously has a traumatic brain injury, or it's there to diagnose that. So the patient might be having issues. But usually it's about 1 hour in total.
1 hour in total. And these tests, in my recollection, are best about 6 weeks after the incident or the accident.
That's usually when I will be able to get a referral over, yes.
A referral over for the best possible testing results.
I've seen them up to 2 years after the accident as well. And I think the doctors that do refer over, they do see some kind of late onset in their words.
Correct.
That they need to.
Correct. Now, why is VNGs necessary? Now, my thought, and obviously practicing, is TBI in a sense is left very subjective, right? And that's what we've covered, is subjectiveness, which is whether it was depression, mood swings, psychological issues. VNG was one of the tests that makes TBI more objective. We have very, very few tests that are objective testing in traumatic brain injury. Yes, we have the DTIs, we have the spin tech scanning, but pretty much those are the tools. The rest are more of a psychological evaluations. So, in my belief, VNGs have been around a very long time, very safe, very dependable, and I think are the gold standard. If done right, in the right type of setting, it is the gold standard for early onset of traumatic brain injuries. And Matt, you have offices all across California. You guys are up and down the coast and very accessible. And I want to thank you for that, because it is very, very tough for locations and for a very reputable company like yourselves. And I don't want to take too much of your time, because I know we're gonna have you show a test. Is there anything else you want to add about VNGs?
Yes, I really want to stress that the convenience of the locations. Since I've really thought this out to have different locations around the Valley, Los Angeles, Orange County, up to Inland Empire, Riverside. because I really feel that the patients, they deserve to get the test done. I really do.
Fantastic. Great. So, without further ado, I think we have Miss Colin Gilroy here, who's going to be our patient, and we're going to take you through a little bit how VNG is performed, so you can explain it to your clients or patients. Okay, let's get the model going.
I would like to thank Dr. Nick for having me on today. And one of the things that we're doing at Cali VNG Solutions is testing for traumatic brain injury. First test we're going to do over here is with Connie. She's going to do a balance test, which is commonly known as the force plate. The second test we're going to do is we're going to do the VNG test. What this does is that we're going to collect the data in both tests and we're going to send it off to the neurologist to get a good read. Now, the neurologists are world-class neurologists that specialize in VNG and also balance. Hi, Connie.
Hi, Matt.
Today we're going to be doing a balance test for you.
Okay.
What we have is a balance board here, and what we're going to have you do is step up on the balance board with your heels on the center piece there. Perfect. We're going to just put your hands on the side. We're going to look straight forward. Now, just make sure and breathe. All right, perfect. The next round of tests is another 20 seconds.
Okay.
Go ahead and put your hands on your side. And now we're going to close your eyes.
Close my eyes. Okay.
Now, on this one, I usually like to make sure the patient has some guidance
Okay.
because sometimes they might tip over.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
gonna
Well, let's hope.
So I'm going to
that
stand
doesn't
right
happen.
behind you to make sure that I can
Okay.
help you out just in case. So
All right.
stand up straight, look forward,
And close my eyes.
and close your eyes.
I feel like I'm moving, but I'm not sure if I am or not.
Great. Go ahead and step on off.
Okay.
And the second one we're going to do, you're going to love this one. Yeah, you go. So what's great about this is we're measuring if you're going forward or backwards with your
Oh,
eyes
okay.
closed especially.
Okay.
And the next one we're going to do is we're going to put you on a foam surface.
Oh, okay.
Why?
You stand on the foam?
Yeah, it's like a shag carpet.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I did clean it earlier, so don't freak out.
Sure, it's fine.
Your heels in the same spot. Need help up?
Nope.
Perfect. All right. Let me go ahead and initialize this. Your eyes are going to be forward and your hands to your side. Look forward for 20 seconds. Going to make sure this is a little bit more tricky because you're on a soft surface. We find this a little bit more difficult with a soft surface. All right, go ahead and step off. All right, hands to the side. I'm going to come over there in a second. Close your eyes. 10 more seconds. Go ahead and step off.
That time I could really feel myself moving around.
Usually we perform this near a wall, just in case the patient has a tendency to lean forward or backwards. I have the patient usually put their hands out, touch the wall, so they have the feeling of not falling over. Or we stand behind them if we're in an environment that doesn't have walls. But this is a great test for the doctor to read if the patient has a fall risk or not. We'll go on to the next one.
Okay.
Let's see where we're at here.
Not too bad.
Okay. Looking at what is the disconnect between your vestibular system, between your ears and eyes, down to the bottom of your feet. You have a reference right here where the circles are, and what they're looking for the outliers. And they use standard deviations and everything. So in the report, final report, it actually gives a indication if you're within the standard deviation or outside the standard deviation based upon age and weight. He wants to, have that extra little information if you're feeling like you're moving forward or backwards more. Why? Is because at the end of the day, he can put that into the report.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
all right, now we're going to do the VNG. All right, the first test we're going to do, we already calibrated, is we're going to look straight ahead at the screen. And I'm going to get those eyelashes. There we go, perfect. Go ahead and look straight at the screen. Default.
Please look at center dot on screen.
and we're just going to have that jump back and forth with your eyes only. What I do is I constantly monitor the screen over here to make sure that it's locked on her eyes. I think we'll get a good read on that one. The idea is to make sure that I have a good take on the eyes. When I have the patient look straight forward, it's basically infrared camera, so it's looking for the darkest part of your eyes. So what we're going to first do is go ahead and calibrate it. Go ahead and look straight at the screen, at the dot, and as it moves around, jumps around, just use your eyes only. Don't move your head. And keep your eyes open as much as possible. We're going to do one more calibration. Look straight ahead. And just follow it with your eyes only. Thank you for watching today. If you need to reach me, go ahead and email me at matt@Cali VNG Solutions.com. Or you can go to the website Cali VNG Solutions.com. Again, Dr. Nick, thank you for having me today. And don't forget to subscribe to PI Today podcast. And thank you.